I'm Aaron from PhoneDog.com, and we saw the Samsung Galaxy Nexus a couple of weeks ago as an unlocked device. If you remember, we did the coverage of the GSM version, but now the Verizon version is in the house. Here's a Samsung Galaxy Nexus on Verizon, and this sucker packs 4G LTE connectivity, but the specs are pretty similar. 1.2 gigahertz dual-core TI OMAP processor, a 5-megapixel camera, 4.65-inch True HD, 720p display, 1080p HD video recording, and of course, Android 4.0 or Ice Cream Sandwich is available now at Verizon for $299.99. It goes up against the Rezound and the DROID RAZR as part of Verizon's holiday lineup. Is this the ultimate Android smartphone? Should you switch from Sprint, AT&T, or T-Mobile to get this? Or if you're on Verizon, should you go with this? We're going to find out in the review. But first, some love to Best Buy Mobile because they hook us up with a ton of phones for use in our one-pop bandit game, just like the Galaxy Nexus. When you walk into Best Buy Mobile, you'll walk out working. They'll help you set up. See down here, I'm going to come in close. See how you can see all those icons, things like that? They'll help you set that up at Best Buy Mobile. You'll walk out working. It's Galaxy Nexus time. Is this the device to get? We're going to find out starting right now. Hey look, it's the Galaxy Nexus. And hey look, Verizon Wireless as a network ID. Yes, my friends, the Galaxy Nexus is finally here after a ton of release dates, a ton of rumors. Remember all those release dates where it was like 9,000 different release dates and it never came out? Well, it's finally here, and you can get it at the nation's largest wireless carrier right now. It's $299.99 with a 2-year agreement, and specs-wise, you're looking at an almost identical version to the GSM version. It's got a 1.2 gigahertz dual-core TI OMAP processor, a 5-megapixel camera with 1080p HD video recording. It's got a 4.65-inch Super AMOLED HD display with, so it's a 720p display, a front-facing camera, and of course it's the first device in the States to run Android 4.0 or Ice Cream Sandwich. Now, where you'll see some differences from the GSM version, if you saw my review of it, it's a little bit thicker because it does have an LTE radio. It supports Verizon's 4G LTE connectivity, and it's got a little bigger battery as well. It has a 1,850 milliamp hour battery back here. Now, it supports Verizon's micro SIM card for the 4G LTE connectivity. So it's got some goodies. It's got 4G LTE, it has a bigger battery, and it's a little bit thicker. I don't know if you'd really call that a goodie, but you know, unless you like something a little bit more substantial in your hand. But in terms of design, it looks almost identical. You got your power button over here, your 3 prongs for sort of, you know, dock input or something like that. A micro USB charging port down here at the bottom with your 3.5mm headphone jack. You got your volume rocker up here. Nothing up top. And you know, while I can tell you it does feel a little bit thicker than the unlocked version, it's really not noticeable. I don't think the average person will notice it. And actually, I think it feels a little bit better to hold in the hand. It just feels a little bit weightier, ever so slightly, and a little bit thicker as well. Sorry, I just drank some like sparkling water before I started this video, and now I've got a tickle in my throat. So if I have to cough a few times, I'm sorry. Blame it on the sparkling water. So here's Android 4.0, and you can see out of the box, you do get a couple of Verizon pre-installed applications, which combined with the fact that Verizon's 4G LTE logo, and of course the carrier logo is on the back, people are saying, well, you know, Nexus devices, or Nexi, are supposed to be kind of the unbranded, you know, flagship Android device, or Android experience, if you will. So the fact that they put these on here, I don't really think it pulls away from the Nexus experience, personally, but that may frustrate you if you know, you're an Android purist and you don't like those logos, things like that. But you do get the Verizon 4G logo on the back, and then you get My Verizon Mobile pre-installed, and then you get VZ Backup Assistant as well. And out of the box, the rest of the stuff is Google Books, Calendar, and you're going to see some changes to the icons as well in Ice Cream Sandwich. But one thing you'll notice up here at the top, 4G. Instead of saying H+, or excuse me, H or 3G, you do get Verizon's 4G LTE connectivity. Now, just to walk you through some of the changes in Ice Cream Sandwich, in case you didn't see the Galaxy Nexus Unlocked video, be sure to check that out because I'm not going to cover everything in this video because I'd like to focus on some of Verizon's features. But you can see the notification bar here. You got some nice shortcuts. You got a settings button up here. You can cancel everything out, or you can swipe to remove stuff. And also something else I like, a little minor feature, but out of the box, when you go to the home screen or the unlock screen here, you can automatically pull down the notification bar without unlocking the actual device. That's a pretty cool little feature. If you want to check your notifications really quickly, you can do that without having to unlock the device. But out of the box, like I said, the Verizon stuff, you get 5 home screens on this bad boy, and you'll notice immediately as well that down here in the apps, your widgets are kind of combined on one area. So you can either click widgets up top to get right over to that, and back to apps, and vice versa, or I can scroll through the apps and it automatically kicks me over into widgets. Now, like typical stock Android, there aren't a ton of widgets you get out of the box. You get analog clock, battery life, which I pre-installed, and you get bookmarks, things like that, books, calendars, contacts, email. What I do like are some of these widgets here, and they've really kind of, you know, honeycombed it, if you will. We'll put the Gmail one out here so you can take a look, and we'll do the inbox, and you can see Old Man McTweety right here. And not only can I customize the size a little bit, so I do get some options to do that. Let me expand that out
like that so you can take a look. But it's a dynamic widget. I can scroll up and down through it and then click an email from there. So that's a pretty cool little feature, and you'll also notice the remove button is up top. Now the Google search bar here can't be removed. That stays up top on each home screen, but you do get some nifty new improvements down here at the bottom with the on-screen buttons. No more capacitive buttons. You get back, home, and then you get running applications over here. So I can see that I have the camera and Gmail running. I can swipe those and get rid of those in the running apps list. So you'll see some changes to settings as well. Just to walk through that pretty quickly, it's grouping everything now by wireless and networks, device, personal, and then system as well. So you'll see some changes across the board like that. And overall, it's cleaner. I like the way the font looks. It's a much smoother font. It really gives it less of a beta feel, if you will, and more of a kind of mainstream OS feel. So let's take a look at messaging, because I want to throw you into this and show you the keyboard. So we're going to do this. This is the device's phone number, for example. So we'll come in here and you'll see 4.65-inch display is going to make it really easy to type on, be it in portrait or in landscape mode. And one thing I really like about this device also that I didn't mention at the beginning, it's a curved device. The display is curved, and so it's pretty easy to hold up to the ear. So when you're on long phone calls or you're on a conference call, it's a great phone to hold up. It feels good. And the earpiece is nice and loud. But we'll get into that in part 2. So we're going to do the busy rumor dog. Actually, I wanted to capitalize the T. So we're going to go back and say the busy. And one thing I've noticed about this, and I can't talk and type at the same time, you guys know this, busy rumor dog is happy that it is cold. Because rumor dog, you know, he's got a lot of fur, and so he's not really cold, but everybody else is cold. So the busy rumor dog is happy that it's cold. Now, one thing I'll notice, take a look at this, and have a look at how slow the transition effects are. This just baffles me. They've got to fix this in a future software update, because now they're kind of picking up steam a little bit. But I mean, you can see 2 to 5 seconds between transition effects. I've seen it take as long as 5 or 6 seconds in between portrait and landscape transitions. Pretty unacceptable for a flagship device with a dual-core processor. You know, I really didn't care for that. Something that's kind of interesting. One of those, like, why in the world is it taking so long when everything else is pretty fast? So I see some little kind of lags and bugs like that. But other than that, you know, everything performs pretty smoothly. The keyboard autocorrect is much improved on this bad boy, and you're not going to get Swipe out of the box, because Swipe, as of right now, technically isn't compatible with Android 4.0. But there are always some options on the Android market if the stock ice cream sandwich keyboard doesn't tickle your fancy. Now that said, I've been really impressed with this, and also the voice input's pretty impressive as well. Hey there, how are you doing today? And I like the fact that when you're doing this, listen to me talk, you can see it's going to auto-populate the words. It doesn't wait until the whole thing is finished before it fills it out. So you can see there, that's pretty cool. Waiting for results. And so that's a nice improvement in Ice Cream Sandwich as well. So you got that, and then just to give you some kind of, you know, an overview here, the contacts, things like this, because I want to show you these changes over here, and then I can come down here to PhoneDog Aaron, for example, and I can see that it's in the PhoneDog Aaron from PhoneDog rather, picture here, and I've got the mobile here. This is just a review unit that I threw in here, but you can text message from here, and then like anything else, because there's obviously no physical buttons, up here kind of serves as your right click, or as your menu button, if you will, where it says edit, share, delete, set ringtone, you know, send all calls to voicemail. I can make it a favorite if I want to, and who doesn't love PhoneDog Aaron? I mean, come on, shameless plug. And then over here you can see I've got my coworkers, family, and friends, and I can group them out in that manner. So over here I want to show you this as well, because the call log has changed in the overall phone application. You can see here, because this is pretty cool. You know, they made some improvements here, and you can see how quick and easy it is to type, and over here I can change the settings directly from it. Call log is over here, empty call log, and then contacts can be accessed right there. But nice big buttons, again, big 4.65-inch display, but because the phone is curved, it doesn't feel as big as you would imagine it to, or maybe as big as something like the HTC Titan, which, hey, it has a 4.7-inch display, but it's a big hunk of phone. The curved nature of this one, the way it feels, the weight, is really conducive to fitting it in the hand. I do feel like it's a little bit more top-heavy than the unlocked version, but still very easy to hold in the hand, and it feels good. Feels good to boot. So we're going to go in here and take a look at the browser as well. Verizon's 4G LTE speeds have been pretty impressive in this area, and so we'll load up PhoneDog.com so you can see, and you can see some huge changes to the browser as well. You can see just the different looking color, the fonts, the different looking background colors. Obviously, it's a Super AMOLED display, so you see a lot of blacks here. And even though it does have PenTile technology, I haven't really noticed the PenTile. It hasn't been as obvious as the Motorola devices like the DROID RAZR, the DROID Bionic, things like that. So you can see it's loading up here, and we can scroll up and down, take a look at this. And I'll wait for it to finish loading before I do the pinch to zoom test. But you can see here, again, options here, stop, share page, find on page, desktop site, all that stuff you can access from here. And then I'm going to go back up here, and of course, like wherever you're at in the browser, you'll see that the the top part there kind of goes away. So you can see here are our tabs, and it gives me a nice preview of where I left off. There's another tab right there, so Verizon Samsung Galaxy Nexus. I can access that. If I wanted to do another tab, I could come in here to Google, like that. Pretty easy, and then I can come back over here to PhoneDog. Now that the page is loaded, I can see pinch to zoom, relatively responsive, a little slow there in displaying the graphics, but pinch to zoom overall, very responsive with little to no lag. Now again, take a look at the transition effects, just a little bit slow. They've really improved the actual effect itself. You can see it has that kind of turning effect, which I've complimented Motorola's UI for some time for having, because it was much nicer than kind of a blocky effect, but you can see it just taking a little bit of time. Now it seems like it's picked up the pace a little bit, but you get the idea. Transition effects are kind of wonky and just sometimes slow, sometimes fast, but pinch to zoom, very responsive on this bad boy. And something else I like, and I was playing around with this, let's go into settings, and let's go to labs, and let's go to quick controls, and this is obviously a feature that's under testing right now. Let's go to quick controls and see if I can figure out how to bring these up. Can't remember the exact, I want to say it's, I thought it was thumb down, but I can't remember. Let's see here. Oh, there it is. Yep, I had it for a second. Let's see. Let's do this. We'll do this live on camera. There it is. And then I can go over here and see my tabs from here. See my tabs that are open. And then I can come over here and I can come down here and change settings as well. So that's a cool little experimental feature. Obviously this device is intended towards developers, people, Android purists, people that really like the Android platform. So that should be a nice perk in the web browser.